The problem is that under Mr. Obama's health care plan, Medicare is no longer what you think it is, because there's $567 billion is being taken away from Medicare to pay for Mr. Obama's health care plan. Pardon me?
That's not true.
Yes, it is. So that's the way it is. That's over $100 billion from Medicare for hospitals, $98 billion away from Medicare for nursing homes, and over $200 billion away from Medicare for Medicare Advantage. We're simply trying to find a way to keep the system sustainable for the long term. If you have a better idea of how to keep Medicare sustainable for the long term, I would be happy to hear it.
I have an idea.
Why don't we start taxing the people in 2%?
Well, Medicare is funded through payroll taxes.
I'm aware of that.
Partially. It's also mostly funded by the taxation on the general fund, the general fund for government. But as it is now, it's going to be out of money within 10 years.
So we need to
change that. This is the policy that we've taken to try to change it.
Well, we don't
And
agree with it.
the people that have studied this plan suggest that this will fix the problem. Well, this is our idea, okay? Like I say, if there's another idea that you may have, then I'd be happy to hear it.
I have an idea. The government was dipping into the Medicare. Why don't they replace it with the billions of dollars that they waste? All the billions of dollars that's going someplace else and wasting, put it back into Medicare that they dug out of it. Yep, they took it out. They dipped into it.
Well,
billions of dollars
The
back.
problem
and
is
put it
this,
back in.
man, is that there's a demographic change in the country. In other words, there's more people, there's 10,000 people a day being added to Medicare. All right, and right now, there's about 3.5 people contributing for every person that's on Medicare. In 10 years, there's going to be 2.3 people contributing for every person that's on Medicare, because the population is getting older. So that's really the problem.
Yeah, all these young people that are paying into it, into Social Security, into all their checks, Social Security, Medicare, and everything like that, that's for themselves for later on.
No, that money is being used right now by the people who receive Medicare.
Yeah, but who's going to help them that's
There
coming up?
there never was a plan to
People a long time
pay
ago,
in
they took out
advance.
a long time ago for us getting it now. Now we're taking it out now.
Listen, I've been
We're
taking
not-
care of patients for 30 years,
Well.
okay? And a lot of people that I take care of are on Medicare. I'm very concerned that there is not going to be that coverage there as time goes by. So Mr. Ryan, Mr. Wyden from Idaho, a Democrat, have gotten together with the Wyden-Ryan plan to preserve Medicare. Either keep the Medicare you will have now, or have the option for buying private insurance that may suit your particular needs better. Nobody's saying that you have to lose your Medicare. The problem is, under Mr. Obama's health care plan, $567 billion, $500 billion are been taken out of Medicare. And it's going to lead to decreased reimbursement to hospitals, decreased reimbursement to physicians. So those people may not be around to take care of you,
Why is he taking it out for?
to pay for the new health care plan.
What about the IOUs that were put in there in place of the money that was taken out of Medicare?
There has been no money taken out of Medicare.
Oh,
Trust fund over the years.
No, you're talking about the Social Security Trust Fund. That's Social Security. That's something else. That was something that was removed under Mr. Johnson back in 1965. And that's the same situation. The people who pay in now,
It's been far away.
the people that pay in now are paying for the people that receive now. That money is not being put away for those people's future.
I have a question on the Ryan plan. We talk about privatizing private companies. How much would a senior citizen get to purchase that?
They haven't even talked about the numbers yet. Okay? It's not a written in stone. It's simply an idea. How are we gonna solve a situation where we have Medicare running out of money within the next 10 years? How do we fix it? So we're trying to fix it by coming up with some kind of a reasonable solution. The way they figure it is that people will prefer to have these private plans because of the fact that you have a lot of different options. Right now, you don't really have any options with Medicare.
But people
It
don't
covers
know.
what it covers, and it doesn't cover what it doesn't
Well,
cover.
people don't know what they're gonna get to buy these plans, it's kind of a, doesn't make sense. It's like
Well,
fuzzy math.
it's simply an idea. It's not written in stone that
Yeah.
you're gonna get
Well, people
so
hear
much
that-
money.
people are-
People are worried that they're not gonna get enough money to pay for the insurance.
And people are, they get alarmed, and then they
Right.
get over an idea,
Right.
but they don't know what the idea is.
Well, that's what I'm trying to explain a little bit.
Well, you can't explain it, you just said you can't give me a figure. I mean,
Well, because
really,
it hasn't been written yet.
that
It's
doesn't
an
make sense.
idea,
An
okay?
idea, yeah,
It's an idea.
an idea.
The idea is keep Medicare the way it is now, or, you know, have them pay you a certain amount every year, like $15,000, or whatever, you know what I mean, and then you get to go out and pick
Pick your own.
whatever type of insurance fits you. You may want to have a high deductible policy with a really high total amount.
If you can afford it, right. Whatever you
Okay,
can
and
afford.
it's supposed to be changed, you know, depending on your income. If you have a very high income, it's gonna pay you less. Okay, and then if you wanna have a different policy, you could put more money into it. But the plan is to give everybody a choice in coverage, and by the fact that you have 30 to 40 different plans to choose from, all, you know, vetted by the government, okay, vetted,
All regulated by the government?
all regulated to be sure that they're, you
Because
know,
it's the same house you're a member of, sounds like they want to deregulate all this, and I don't
well,
get
no,
it.
we want to try, they're trying to get more competition.
You're right.
Because right now,
If you deregulate, you get more competition, that's the theory, right?
but
I don't know.
for example, with my healthcare plan, okay, from what they have at federal employees, I have a federal employees healthcare plan. So I have a choice between about 20 different plans, private insurance plans, that the government has said that you meet the criterion. And I can either choose from a high deductible plan where I pay out of my pocket for the first 5,000 or 10,000 and give me different coverages, or if I want a dental plan or whatever, then I have the choice depending on my personal circumstances, which people may want to have. Personal circumstances may be different amongst people. Certainly people's finances are certainly different. So the way I look at it is, it's your money in the long run. People have been paying in for years, right? So why shouldn't the people have more control over how it's done? And under Mr. Obama's plan with his independent payment advisory board, you know, taking care of Medicare, bureaucrats in Washington are going to decide what they pay and what they don't pay.
But what about the bureaucrats taking care of all those plans? Who's gonna see
But at
to
least,
it?
you know, at least if you have a choice of 30 different plans, and you
Yes,
don't
right.
decide this guy over here is not giving you a good deal, you can
Yeah.
quit him and go to somebody else. Just like if you have, with your insurance now, you get an insurance agent that doesn't treat you right, you can fire that guy and go to somebody different. When you have the government, one person telling you what the rate is gonna
One
be,
person is not telling.
well, this 15-member board with no appeal is not going to be able to, you're not gonna have any
It's
appeal
been
from that.
working so far, Medicare's been working, so. why
Exactly,
don't
but
you
the
fix
problem
it?
is that it's out of money.
Oh, yes, then.
That's the
then-
problem, you have to
well,
you have to
then we don't
consider that.
make it worse by putting out up to 40 other plans.
We're just trying to find an answer to the fact that there's fewer people paying in, and there's more people getting on. And to try to find a way to do it better, you understand, with less waste and more options for people. As far as I'm concerned, it's your money, you should have the choices as to how to spend it.
The options, I want it the way it is right now.
Then you have that option, that doesn't change.
Oh, okay, you're trying to do it though.
For how
No,
long?
no, that's not the plan.
Yes,
The
your
plan is have.
Ryan plan is changing it, isn't it?
Well, no, the
Yes.
Ryan Wyden plan,
That's what you're for, and I'm not. I'm for keeping it the way it is.
well,
And that's what we hear.
that's what I'm saying though is that we're not taking it away. We're giving you the option.
We don't want it.
Yeah.
Well, then don't get it then. That's completely, that's part of it. You can either take it or not.
We're here to tell you, as our congressman, to represent us, because we don't want that.
But
We don't
that's
want
not what we're
those
saying.
options.
We're
We
we're
don't
saying
want-
that
we
you have the
tried to do
option.
that with Social Security, give everybody options. Nobody wanted the change in Social Security, and the similar.
See, something has to change because there's no, the money will run out.
Well, yes, you can do other things.
Congressman,
You can raise taxes.
why does something have to change for us who have paid into the system for 30, 40 years, who are the working slips of the world,
Right.
but the rich people, the 2%, they don't have to. And the oil companies
No,
that we're
nobody's talking about-
already funding with our $4 a gallon, they get
Yeah.
their breaks.
Well,
When
nobody's
do
talking
we get
about,
a break?
the only thing that we're talking about is this.
There you
For
could get
those
money.
55
The oil
years of age or
companies.
older, no changes.
Yeah.
Okay, but the problem is, there already has been a change in Medicare because Mr. Obama's health care plan took $567 billion away from Medicare.
I understand that, but you're pretty sure you're gonna get rid of that anyway in the Supreme Court.
Well, I
So
don't
let's
know
stop
what's gonna
talking about
happen.
that and answer my question, why a Congress that mostly ran on family values is turning its back on its grandmothers and grandfathers
I don't-
and saying,
I don't see that,
y'all
Dawn.
go on your own. If you're 55, you're 50 years away from retirement, go out and build up a little nest egg right now. Where are your family values?
That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying if you want to stay on the Medicare that you can do that.
If you're 55 or older, but
No,
there
if you're
is not
55 or
enough
younger
time.
as well.
There is not enough time if you are, because I know, I started over at 45. At
What I'm saying,
45
ma'am,
to
is this.
65, it's not enough time.
What I'm saying is this, if you're 55 or older, the plan changes nothing. Okay? If you're 54 years old or younger, you have the option of staying on Medicare as it is, or you have the option of going to this premium support plan.
You're not answering my question. Why does it have to be this way and we can't tax the people
We're trying
that
to
we are
find a way
already
to
funding
save
with our
Medicare.
hard-earned money just at the gas tank? Why aren't we taxing the people that Reagan taxed, but you guys don't want to tax them?
We're talking about two different things now.
No, we're not.
talking about
We're talking about
Medicare.
running a government and taking care of its citizens. And I don't hear you doing that. I hear you finding ways to keep the rich richer and the poor,
Hey, I
well,
think
we'll find a way
everybody
to get
should
them
pay their fair
by.
share of taxes.
Really?
Yeah, where you do
Taxing the
that?
upper
That's a laugh.
2%.
How about the oil companies? You're not for taxing them, are you?
Yeah, sure, they pay taxes.
Oh, yes, but not enough.
I don't know, they pay about 40% of their profits in
Oh,
taxes.
yes, oh, yes, that's why I guess.
Well, that's the
I
truth.
think they get all that back in
Yeah.
revenue share, well, not revenue sharing, but they get all that back in the government giving
Yeah.
money.
No, the
I
government
think
doesn't
it's
give oil.
excise
You
paid
don't want-
nothing.
The government does not give oil companies money.
There are
Tax
no government
rates or
subsidies for
There
oil.
are no government subsidies for oil.
And the house, they pay
Government, oil, what you're talking about, huh?
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is not.
Well,
The government is funding.
they do not give the oil
subsidizing-
companies money.
Yes,
Okay,
you
okay.
say that.
Oil companies take the same tax deductions that any manufacturer takes.
Oh,
It sounds like the theme here is, how are you gonna fund all this? They're talking about raising funds to cover Medicare. I think that's the whole theme here. But it doesn't seem to be a plan for that. They wanna privatize
Well-
it, take care of their private insurance companies,
well, we do.
contribute to the campaigns. We all know what's going on, who does all that, but these folks are looking at ways to fund Medicare. They think that nobody's looking at that.
Well, we're looking at all kinds of different things. If you come up with an idea to save Medicare, I'd be happy to hear it, okay? We came up with an idea, all right, in the House, all right? We passed it in the House as a budget.
Yeah, we didn't
Okay.
like that, but you did that.
Let me just finish. So that's our position, all right? So we're waiting to see what the Senate will do. Okay, the Senate has a Democrat majority, the Democrat leader, and we want to see the Senate come up with a budget. Okay? But they don't have a budget. They don't have a plan. We have our budget, which includes this plan for Medicare. We would like to see the Senate have a plan. What's your idea? Pass something in the Senate And then we will come together with a conference, and then, maybe work out the differences between our plan and their plan, and then move forward. But it's hard to argue with someone when they criticize what we've done, and I'm not saying that it's a perfect plan. Okay, I'm not saying that it's going to be what the final result should be. I'm saying this is the starting place to talk about the problem, because there's a problem with Medicare. It's going to be out of money. Let's talk about it. Let's find a solution. So this is the solution we came up with. So if they would have a solution, I'd be happy to hear it. But if they haven't said anything, they just criticize what we've done.
Sir.
It's hard to, but I just want to finish my thought. It's hard to negotiate when somebody says, well, your plan is bad, your plan is bad, your plan is bad. Okay, well, then what's your plan? Well, we don't have a plan, but your plan is bad. So you understand what I'm saying? I'm not an expert at this, okay? I've been taking care of
I'm not
patients
either.
for 30
I'm not
years.
either.
And I'm just trying to find a solution. I'm not trying to win any points or be a good Republican or anything like that. I'm just trying to find an answer, because this is why I ran for Congress in the first place, is that there doesn't seem to be any answers coming from Washington. And I don't pretend that I know everything.
Well, the answer,
Just-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to let this fellow.
I have a surefire guaranteed way of funding Medicare. And that is to remove all of our representatives from any government insurance, put them on Medicare, make them purchase their own subsidiary insurance, and Medicare be funded instantly. Be no problem at all. There'll be money in it coming up over the edges, okay?
I wish that were
Second,
true.
say it's true.
Well, there's only
And then I'll send
400
it
of
to
them.
Congressman, and they can put them on Medicare and no other insurance.
I want Medicare.
Yeah.
I pay the Medicare.
Sure, yeah, but you're also on a paid government insurance program. You're a very nice man.
Well,
But
I
the
pay,
other-
just the
one other
same as
thing-
anybody on the federal government is the same
Federal
insurance
government,
that I
there you
have.
go.
But
We
we're
put
not-
them all on Medicare, period. Now, another thing is it's President Johnson and President Obama, Mr.
Yes.
Minichek,
Yeah.
okay?
Not Mr.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
You know, healthcare costs keep escalating and there's not enough money there to fund it. How are we gonna fund it and what will happen to benefits? I mean,
That's the biggest problem with healthcare in this country, is that it costs so much. All right?
That's why we-
And
Yeah.
that's, I've been taking care of patients for a long time, all right? And the problem is that, one of the problems is, for example, is this. There's not many places you can buy health insurance in the state of Michigan, okay? There's only a few companies. Biggest company being Blue Cross, which controls about 70% of the business in the state of Michigan. There's a lot of regulations that limit the ability of people to sell insurance in the state of Michigan. You can't, for example, buy health insurance from a company in Wisconsin if you're in business in Michigan. But if you can buy car insurance for a company in Florida or California, you can buy car insurance from anybody. So why not open up the insurance business so that you can buy your health insurance from any company in the country?
But that's not gonna change the cost of.
Well, sure it is. If there's more competition. Right now, there's only 3 people that are providing it.
Yeah, but that's the theory behind it, is that it's gonna drive down costs, but
Yeah.
I think history shows that probably costs will continue to go up maybe 7.5% a year.
Well, I don't know. What I know is that usually if there's more competition in an industry, the cost goes down.
Well, if you look at the auto industry, though, the insurance, it's gone sky high, and there's all kinds of competition. You just said it yourself,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't work, I mean, it doesn't work in the auto industry, auto insurance.
Well, I think in car insurance,
Michigan
having a
provides
different
taxes.
option, gives you much more
Well, you got
choice as
tons
to
of
your
options.
coverage.
You're right, in auto insurance, tons of options,
Yeah.
but the cost is,
As soon as you put a profit motive in there, that's gonna take 15% right out of healthcare. I mean, for profit, people have to make their profit, and I'm not opposed to that, but I'm saying that's money that's being taken out of healthcare services and goes to a private company. But my biggest concern is how is it gonna be continued to be funded and receive the same level of benefits that we're getting now?
Oh, I can understand your concern there, but, I don't really trust the government to do it efficiently either. I think that you can do things much cheaper in the private sector than you can in the government. That's why, oftentimes they'll contract different things out.
If you go with the voucher system, then you're out of money
Yeah.
pocket for the premium is gonna probably go up.
Well, That's the point of having the option that we're talking about, okay? I mean, as I understand, nobody's talked about how much, everybody's concerned that, well, it's not gonna be enough money to pay for any insurance. But you have the option of staying with Medicare that you have now. This is for younger people. Have the option, or staying with the same Medicare, or going to a private insurance company if you think it's better for you. I mean, what if it turns out to be better for you? You could always switch, you know what I mean? You can switch back and forth, so why wouldn't you take the thing that was working out best for you? We're not trying to, impose it on you, we're giving you a choice. I don't see really the downside of it.
Mr. Banashak, these problems are so deep that I don't even know where to start, but I just wanted to make a couple comments. I am totally unconvinced when people say that government is the problem. I mean, how can you run for government and want no government? I mean,
I don't want no government, I want
understand.
less government.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened from our side. We have so few workers, governmental workers anymore, that everything is just spread thin and doing way so much. A great many of your policies are to get rid of regulations. I mean, absolutely, I feel a lot of your policies are to control. They are not to free people. I mean, what about all the money that people invested, that Wall Street gambled with, and nobody saw it? Nobody wanted to regulate them. Nobody wants to punish them. We don't get anything back. That is a horrible thing.
Did you lose a lot of money in Wall Street or something?
Yes, we did. Everybody did.
Everybody.
Everybody did. When did everybody start investing? And the whole thing about in business, the way it's being run now, is competition. I agree, competition is good, but it is not all there is. And competition run wild is very destructive because it's the meanest, the biggest, eat it all. You go to our grocery store, almost all the groceries on all the shelves are owned by 5 big, greedy giants. They own them all, and they put different names on it. And so part of the problem is cooperation. So when people do not acknowledge the other party on both sides for the really good things they have just done to hold things together, I lose faith in all of you. I mean, Obama has done so many good things. There are Republicans that have done so many things. The insurance across the state, one of the things is get the government regulations out. Get the government regulations out of a great deal of things, like our food, like our water, like our air. And so these aren't important. To me, I don't see both parties absolutely protecting the commons. Our earth is being ripped apart. People are sicker than they've ever been with our very smart scientists and politicians. So you have to start hearing.
I don't know if I agree with you with that. I think the life expectancy of Americans has been going up for decades.
I grant that.
People live longer now than they ever have.
Maybe live
We
longer.
have the best healthcare system in the world, I
That's
think.
not true.
So,
How can you say that?
Well,
How
I'll
can
tell
say
you.
that?
I've been in it for 30 years. I think I have a pretty good
What about the lifespan?
lifespan is higher now than it's ever been.
What about the
Yeah, but what
quality
about
of
compared
life?
with other countries?
Other
that
countries,
can't
they
help?
all
We have
better
provided for
we have one of the
everybody.
highest lifespans in the world.
Well, I just want to end by saying
Well, you have to
cooperation
show me
is
an
important too.
Well,
Right
if you
now, for example,
Put your heads together.
in Britain, the
and-
time that if you're diagnosed with cancer in this country, you have a 75% chance of living 6 years.
Okay,
If
you get to the
if you're in
doctor
Britain,
and you care.
you do not have that same chance. You have like a 45% chance of living 5 years. If in Canada, it's like 60%. We have the highest.
Then why do
we
they have a longer lifespan in those countries?
I don't think that they do.
We do.
They do.
Yes,
How
they
could you
do.
not know
They-
that? You're a medical doctor.
Yeah,
They
it's
do.
true. Yeah.
I don't believe that's true.
Scandinavian
You look
countries?
up your records on lifespan.
Go on.
What about the power of the pharmaceutical companies?
Well, I
Doesn't
appreciate you
worry
coming
you?
down and asking me these questions. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
But if you really want to know my position on a lot of different issues,
I have
then
that.
I would go to the website, benishak.house.gov, and see where I stand, rather than taking somebody else's word for it.
I've been there.
Thank you all.
Our position, Congressman.
Well, there should be certainly something for those. Thanks for coming down, I appreciate it.
We'll check your lifespan. You have got that straight.